Good morning, YouTube. Okay, I think the car's done dinging. Good morning, YouTube. It is Tuesday, July 18th. Dang, I'm running out a month, but I think I've almost got my rent paid, and that's the important thing. So it's 7:04 a.m. By the way, that's July 18th, 2023. Oh, God, why are you dinging, car? Really? I just love how this car sometimes just starts erratically dinging for no apparent reason. Guy in the parking lot behind me was coming out forward as I was backing up. I didn't expect that. Anyway, he backed back in. So, thanks for letting me out, dude. Oh, so that was one long, hot, sweaty, hard work kind of a shift. And to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I like that kind of work. There was one guy, seemed like he was not really feeling it. He did make it to 6 o'clock, which was the scheduled end of the shift, and I don't even think he asked to leave. I think he just bailed at 6, hit end on his Wonolo app and just got the hell out. But I mean, I thoroughly get that this is one of those kind of places that you work until the work is done, and as long as they've got more work to give me, I'm going to keep working. Yeah, I'm trying to make as much money as I can and get my bills paid, get caught up, get myself out of this bind. 2 weeks ago, I was genuinely panicked that I would be homeless at the end of this month, and I'm not feeling that panicked at all. In fact, it's been really cool working these kind of jobs where they're calling me in as a temp through Wonolo, because I'm meeting guys that do this and that have been doing this for a long time. Like, this is a whole new adventure for me. Not warehouse work what I've been doing for quite some time. Speaking of warehouse work, I didn't vlog yesterday morning when I was going home from the Hello Fresh production facility. And it has a number like the Amazon that I worked at for years, but I forget what the hell it is. I think it's AZ1, but I'm not 100% clear on that. Anyway, going home from that, I thought I'd take a different route because I like to change up the routes that I drive. I really do. Wow, that is a cool looking building going in on the right. What the hell is that? I sure hope that's really interesting how the front of it is curved. I hope the video caught it. It wasn't too far off to the right. I have no idea what's going on. It looks like it's probably going to be some kind of a hotel. So, although y'all can't see it, State Farm Arena is off to the left, and I've got the glove wrapped around the phone, trying to minimize the noise. So, yeah, I haven't tried to pull. Yeah, oh, there's my green light. Oh shit, there's my. Sorry, not going to be able to turn the phone so y'all can see State Farm Stadium. I guess I can maybe add a picture in post-production, or when I edit the video. Is it really called post-production when I'm sitting there just doing a half-assed job on iMovie? Probably not. But anyway, yeah, State Farm Stadium, also known as the Cardinals Stadium, and I think through here it's Cardinals Way. I did check Google Maps, and it goes through all the way continuously to Bethany Home at this point. There was a time not that long ago that it didn't. So I'm going to be driving down a bit of Bethany Home that I've never driven before. That's kind of exciting. Traffic light still saying Cardinals Way. And I'm pretty sure I'm at 91st Avenue. I can't really read that street sign in front of me with the sun behind it. Yeah, still saying Cardinals Way. I have no idea at what point it becomes Bethany Home Road, but yeah, it seems like not that long ago this stretch here that I'm on didn't exist. So that's kind of neat. I always like seeing new infrastructure. Just trying to take it in, checking out the new tract houses on the right, and the way that they've added this road in around. As I drive by Braille, yeah, it looks like there's a drainage canal on the left, and that's why it's a little bit off the regular alignment. And a water treatment facility. I know there's a canal that ran along where Bethany Home Road didn't. I forget where it used to end on the west side. I just always remembered as a cab driver that Bethany didn't get me all the way far west, and Camelback did, and Glendale did. Glendale, of course, goes all the way to Litchfield, where it enters into Luke Air Force Base. So this is kind of fun. It's always fun driving on a new thoroughfare that I've never driven on before. And looks like new housing going in. Taylor Morrison, 87th Avenue, Cardinal Way, Stonehaven, in the low 400,000s. Yeah, that's not on my agenda. So still called Cardinals Way this far east. I'm looking at the street sign off to the right. It's got that new Glendale style street sign with the G that looks like a Google logo. Air conditioning working really good this morning, and boy do I need it. I am just caked with sweat. So I did get a text message back from Priscilla before I headed out, saying that she's apologizing, saying that she fell asleep right after work, which doesn't surprise me. She does that a lot and falls asleep really hard. And I was going to help her move her table last night. I think that was on the agenda. And she's like, well, it's too late to do that. And I'm like, well, because I overslept. And I'm like, well, okay. And she said she was working on some other stuff. And I kind of told her what was up with me. Brand new, wow, that's a park on the right. Rather nice little neighborhood park on the right. And it looked like there was a bike route underpass to the rest of the park on the left, on the other side of the canal. It's really wild. I've just never been through here. Okay, now it's saying Bethany Home Road. Quite the house on the left. There's like a full-on mansion on the left there. So I'm sure this stuff is older, just a part that I never really went down because it never went through. So I looked at the traffic view on Obamaphone 5, since I had to uninstall Google Maps from the iPhone to make room to export compiled and edited vlog videos. And yeah, this late in the morning, of course, the traffic going towards downtown on I-10 is terrible, which I'm used to. I mean, yeah, if for some reason I stuck around this late at GYR3, actually, I never stuck around this late. I stuck around late, but never till 7 in the morning. Actually, no, I take that back. I did have one morning that I drove Katrina home, and we sat and just talked in the car for quite a while. And I think it was probably about 7 before I drove home. And yeah, by 7 a.m., the traffic going in on I-10 is not good. Nothing I want to deal with. But yeah, I zoomed in on Google Maps and saw that Cardinals Way now continues all the way through to Bethany Home. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever driven this. And also saw that it had no traffic to speak of all the way to Grand. So I'm just going to do this to Grand and take Grand downtown. And it's already after 7 o'clock, so I should be able to get right into St. Vincent de Paul and get breakfast again. As I said before, I'm trying to spend absolutely nothing on food, right? I mean, I'm buying some food, don't get me wrong, but it's been like dollar on sale hot dogs at 7-Eleven and value menu at Del Taco, along with some extra free entree that I'm getting through the app, and value menu at Taco Bell, and that's been about it. I'm not even doing Wendy's anymore. Not since they've done shrinkflation to turn the bacon double cheeseburger into something that looks like a double slider. Yeah, I'd really much rather places just raise their prices and keep fast food sandwiches the sizes that they've always been. I mean, yeah, it's pretty expensive for a Whataburger these days, but at least when I buy a Whataburger, it's the same Whataburger I've always been buying, even if it is like $7 and change now. The last Jumbo Jack I got was a freaking joke. It's this little tiny ass thing, and I still can't get over. I haven't gone back to Wendy's whatsoever since that bacon double cheeseburger looked like a double slider. Yeah, I mean, unless people refuse to put up with it, these companies are going to keep doing it. And as far as I can tell, Del Taco hasn't done it, and or at least if they've done it to such a. I was kind of wondering how that was going to be navigated with the frontage road on the right there. If they have done it, they've done it to such a small degree that I literally have not noticed. And Taco Bell doesn't seem to be doing it at all. Taco Bell's stuff is the same size, pretty much seems to be the same size I've always remembered it being. Alright, stop bus coming up on the right. Better let me into the lane, ever-growing truck. Now, this part of Bethany I've been down many times. This is kind of old ghetto Glendale. And, oh yeah, back in my cab driver days in the 1990s, I would get stuck out here more times than I would want to. And my thing as a cab driver is, if there's work in an area where I'm at, I'm going to keep working it, no matter how ghetto it is. Somebody's got to really upset me for me to want to just have to discharge myself from the neighborhood, because that's how I make the most money, is by spending the least amount of time and gas chasing fares and just getting somebody in the car as quickly as possible with that meter running. So what avenue is this? I think it's 67th? No, that was 59th. Oh, of course this is 59th. I know exactly where I'm at. The video didn't catch it, but there's a Air Force jet fighter plane on a pedestal, like a monument, in the park to the left. And I remember when I was a little kid, my mom used to let me play at that park while she'd play tennis. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I need to get out of this lane. And then, like those other assholes, I'm going to let this guy get in. So on the right, looks like it's still there, the big Glendale Drive-In Theater. Oh yeah, it's Glendale 9 Drive-In. Looks like it's still in operation. Man, I remember going to movies there as a kid, and I just love going to the Drive-In Theater. There used to be one not far from where I live, on the south end of Scottsdale, technically on the Salt River Indian Reservation, but yeah, south end of Scottsdale. But that one's been shut down for a long time. But yeah, it looks like the Glendale Drive-In is still up and running. Also had a hell of an extended fling with a woman who used to live just south, either just south of there or just north of, no, just south of there. That was a long time ago. It frightens me if I made a list of, like, really, car? If I made a list of all the extended flings that I've had, how long that list might be. But her and I lasted for a few months. It was a really odd relationship, because she definitely considered me booty call material, but didn't consider me dating material. Which is like, okay. But it was kind of funny. Like, she'd tell me about these guys she'd go out on dates with that she mostly met at work, and tell me how bad her dates were. And I'd be out as a cab driver, so I'm working until late at night. She'd call me when she got home, and we'd well, it wasn't called Netflix and chill back then, because there was no such thing as Netflix back then. But that's basically what would happen, and pretty much stay the night with her until it was time for. Usually, the time she had to leave for work was about the same time I needed to go pick up my day driver in my cab. So, yeah, that was looking back at all the flings I've had and like friend with benefits kind of relationships I've had. That was definitely in my top 5 list of just absolutely most convenient and nice for both of us. And don't get me wrong, if she would have been down for something more serious, I would have been down for something more serious. But she wasn't, and I was completely cool with that. So I think this lane that I'm in will get me on to Grand. We got a bit of congestion here. So 51st goes up and over. And we had an intersection with Grand and Bethany. I remember how this intersection was when I was a kid, and this one was really weird when I was a kid. It didn't have like the traditional 6-way intersection that most of them had before the gradient level intersections were put in. Now, it did have a 6-way intersection that was put in between the intersection I remember that was here as a kid and the gradient level interchange that's been here for probably the last 20 years, give or take. But the old intersection basically had a 6-way type light on the other side of the tracks for 51st Avenue going north and for Bethany going east in Grand Avenue. But Bethany didn't cross the tracks like it does now, in line with Bethany going further east, and it also didn't 51st didn't continue further south. If I remember right, Bethany kind of came to where the tracks were and then went south paralleling the tracks, and 51st kind of came up and ended at it, and then it went down a little, like in towards downtown Phoenix along the tracks, and then it curved and had a single railroad crossing, and then there was a traffic light for that with Grand. That's how I remember it. I might be remembering it wrong. That's how it was in like the 70s. It was sometime in the 80s when they finally switched it to a 6-way intersection. And now, of course, it's something completely different. Well, that transition worked pretty nicely. Not completely sure why they have that set for no ride on red. I mean, yeah, there's train tracks there, but I guess they figure Phoenix drivers are too stupid at this point to realize that they shouldn't pull in front of a train while turning right on red. Or maybe they're worried that people will actually sit on the tracks while they're looking to see if it's clear to turn right on red. I remember a film I had to watch. And yes, it was on film back in the days. When I went to school, I mean, VCRs happened when I was in school, but we still had film projectors, and VCRs didn't happen until I was well into middle school. Like anytime I saw a film in grade school, it was on a film projector. And those things were still in use well into high school. And so I remember watching a film in driver's ed. And it was a film threaded on a film projector. And it was a film about car train accidents. And it was just a lot of just gore fear porn. But I tell you, I have never stopped on tracks. Ever. Ever. As a driver. In fact, the other day while I was driving, when I realized that I was about to stop on tracks, and I went ahead and ran the red light rather than stop on the tracks. It was clear. I figured at that point, yeah, I'm already in the intersection. To me, the lesser of two evils was go ahead and run the red light in the empty intersection, because I didn't really realize exactly where the tracks were until I was on them. But yeah, that video, that film, there's some things that you see that just stick with you the rest of your life. And 30 minutes of just non-stop car train accidents is one of those things. I can't imagine they still show that in school now. Like, kids are just too sensitive for that shit now. But yeah, my sophomore year in high school. Yeah, in a car train accident, it doesn't matter how big the car is. A train wins. Train wins every time, and the people in the car generally don't live through that. It's yeah, it's probably a good idea that they have the stop here on red and the no right on red back at that intersection. Because, yeah, if they didn't, hey, you always get lucky at Mr. Lucky's. I really wish somebody would reopen that. I think in its last incarnation, it was a big Mexican bar, like all kind of Norteño music in Spanish, and hardly anybody in there really speaking English. And to be honest, I would probably thoroughly enjoy going to a bar like that if I was adequately fluent in Spanish. But yeah, I'm not. Heck, I would probably enjoy going to a bar like that if I was with a friend that was adequately fluent in Spanish and was down to translate for me when needed. I mean, I've certainly spent time with people who speak minimal English, as I speak minimal whatever it is they speak, whether it was French, German, or Spanish, and have usually managed to communicate all right. In fact, I had a roommate when I lived in Jackson that didn't speak hardly any English at all. And I want to say he spoke German, but it might have been something else that he spoke. He was from Europe, somewhere. I think Germany. That was so long ago. But his friend, I had three roommates. The one, it was a couple, and they shared a bunk. And then the guy and his girlfriend was freaking gorgeous too. And it was the guy that didn't speak any English, had the gorgeous girlfriend. And then and she spoke kind of minimal English. And then the other guy spoke, like, it was pretty accented, but real fluent English. And they all came over together as some kind of a labor exchange kind of program or something, to work for Kentucky Fried Chicken in Jackson, Wyoming. And the Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise was also owned by the same people that owned KZJH Radio, the radio station I worked at the time. And yeah, that was kind of an odd living arrangement, but man, we had some of the best roommates I ever had, in spite of the language barrier. And God, we would go out, we'd go out drinking together and just have a blast. Or sometimes just be drinking at home, have a blast. I always had a blast with those guys. And I never forget one time we went to the Mangy Moose over in the Jackson Hole Resort, or the Grand Tetons at the other end, actually out of the town of Jackson, into the other end, and went and saw Ray Manzarek band. That was amazing. Got to meet Ray Manzarek after the show. Just, at least I got to meet one of the Doors. That was that was amazing. I can't think of anybody who has a keyboard sound anything like what he had. It was truly unique in what he was doing. While it definitely wasn't the Doors, it had that sound, and it was amazing. And I couldn't believe I was seeing them at just a little tiny bar. It's around a couple miles from home. I miss living in Jackson, although I've been seeing videos about what the living arrangement is like now, and apparently it's gotten a lot worse. Although it was really bad when I was there. Like, pretty much if you had any kind of working class job, if you didn't have some kind of housing through your employer, you didn't have housing unless you had family or something that was already there. But from what I've heard, the employers are not as good about handing that out as they were back in 1991. That's when I lived there. It's working out pretty nice, and I'm keeping enough in motion that my temperature gauge hasn't gotten high whatsoever. Of course, it's probably only in the low 90s right now. I haven't checked the weather widget yet, but I don't know. After the last couple of days, it didn't feel so bad. Definitely felt a lot warmer yesterday. So not much to say about working at the HelloFresh delivery unit today, other than it wasn't Ruthie. It was a different manager. I've already forgot his name, but he seemed really cool, and he'd asked if I was already on the favorites list, and I told him I was reasonably sure that Ruthie had put me on it, and which is actually, until he said it, I wasn't 100% sure if there was a favorites list. Like, Ruthie mentioned something about it, but she wasn't as clear about it as this guy was. But yeah, given requesters can put Wonoloers that are their favorites on a list, and when they request help, additional staffing through Wonolo, it'll go out to those people first. So now, how much of a time window there is on it going out first, who knows? But yeah, I mean, I still can't complain about Wonolo. I've been really, really happy with it. Now the next 2 days I'm going to be working back at Restaurant Depot, and I really enjoyed working at Restaurant Depot, but the pay is terrible. I forget how much it is an hour, but it's not enough. I'll say that. Okay, I should really be out of this lane because I don't. Hey, thanks for not letting me in, asshole. Whoa! Oh, damn it. My bad for being in that lane, because yeah, that lane tends to really back up with people wanting to get onto southbound 19th Avenue to get on I-10. I mean, shit, half the time I come down here when I'm going this way, I am getting on I-10, and I still don't stay in that lane. I usually go straight through the intersection and then turn right on the next right, which will double back to 19th Avenue, and I usually always get a nice easy gap where I can turn left onto 19th and then get on I-10. Way quicker than waiting in this long line of vehicles trying to turn right at the 6-way intersection. And I can't for the life of me remember what the name of that street is. It's so funny. There's so many like side streets that I use on a regular basis and that I've been using for many years that I just don't know the name of offhand. I just know exactly where they are and where they go and what I use them for. But see here, you see that there's a right turn only lane for that street, and there's nobody in that right turn only lane. Take a peek at the street sign. Willetta. And if somebody said Willetta, like I know Willetta is just south of McDowell, but I didn't remember that particular side street that I use on the regular is Wonolo. Wow, those look like brand new affordable housing apartments on the right. Hadn't noticed those before. All right, this is about to get ugly because after the six-way intersection with 15th Avenue in Roosevelt is when Grand hits the road diet and gets reduced down to one lane, which to me is insane for a street that used to be a U.S. highway. This used to be U.S. 60. But don't get me wrong. I mean, I really love what they've done with Grand Avenue in the last stretch between there and where it ends at 7th Avenue and Van Buren. It's become pretty much like an arts district and an entertainment district of sorts. Very, very hipster-esque, but I dig it, and it's definitely been, it's getting gentrified along it now. Still pretty ghetto, like where I'm at here and to the west here, but the Grand is kind of neat, but still so many people are trying to use it as a thoroughfare to get to downtown. And it's not like the city of Phoenix has replaced it with a different... She looked like she'd clean up nice. Yeah, it's not like the city of Phoenix has replaced it with another thoroughfare, so... But that's fine. I can do 15th Avenue. That, I think I want to hang left here at Van Buren. Since it's after 6 a.m., I can park over by those, by that state government parking garage. The one that's for the Natural Resources building. Actually, I should probably park on the other side of the street so I can get a little bit more shade. And then head on down to St. Vincent's Paul to get breakfast. And it feels a little odd doing this, but I'm just trying to map out my money, and I don't know how many shifts I'm going to pick up. Prior to I forget exactly what date, but my second shift at HelloFresh, I had only got that night of July 4th, and I had been checking Wonolo for weeks, and there just wasn't shit on it. So, and who knows at what point it's going to dry up like that again. I have no idea. No guarantee it's going to keep offering me work like it's been offering me work. So, my eating free meals down in the zone may very well be the difference between me being able to pay my bills this month and not being able to pay my bills this month. So, and as I said yesterday, it's a really positive and humbling kind of experience, and it's definitely making me feel a whole lot better about what I have, rather than being bummed about all the things I don't have. your turn and park under this here tree that I like parking under. And I think as long as I park here, I shouldn't need my sunshade. So that's a plus. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to shoot video going into the zone. There are way too many people that get upset about cameras, and I'm here way too often these days to get a reputation for that. I'm worried I might already have it, but anyway, thanks for coming along on the ride, and I might shoot video on the way home. Checking to see if Priscilla texted me back, and no, she did not. I let her know when I was heading home and said I was coming here for breakfast, unless she wanted me to come over there. But no response, and she's probably sound asleep, which is fine. I forget exactly what time she starts working, but I know she does have a habit of literally waiting until the last second to get up and go to work. So, but yeah, after she said that she had fallen asleep and wasn't going to move the table, I told her kind of what was going on with me. Like, she never texted me back last night, which is kind of weird. But I don't know. My whole arrangement with her is kind of, that whole situation is just kind of weird, no matter how you slice it. But, I don't know. I'm trying to, rather than being all frustrated about it, which I seem to be half the time, I'm just trying to be thankful and enjoy what I got.